Meeting subject to the public meeting law, and it will be recorded. Deliberation of issues will only be conducted by board members unless permitted by the chair. Individuals who engage in disruptive behavior that impedes official business will be asked to stop being disruptive or leave the meeting. Additional measures may be taken to have disruptive individuals removed. If their continued presence poses a safety risk to other persons in the room or makes it impossible to continue the meeting. We'll do introductions. Juan, if you want to go ahead and call.
When I call on you, please state your name and who you represent for the record. We'll start with you, Vice Chair.
Denisha Barrett, Beaverton Police, non-management law enforcement.
Member Bennett.
I'm Martha Bennett. I'm City Manager of Lake Oswego, representing the League of Oregon City.
Member Cameron.
Jennifer Cameron, Lynn County Felon Probation, representing non-management probation.
Member Carriger.
Jack Carriger, Gates Fire District, representing the Oregon Volunteer Firefighters.
Member Cotting.
Casey Cotting, Oregon State Police.
Member Daniel.
Mark Daniel, Mount Angel Police, representing the Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police.
Member Fletcher.
Mike Fletcher, Deputy SWIC, State of Oregon, representing ABCO 911.
Member Gillespie.
Ryan Gillespie, Fire Chief, Portland Fire and Rescue.
Member Hazenkamp.
Jeremy Hazenkamp, Private Security.
And online, Member Heppel.
Chris Heppel, Deputy Chief, Eugene Springfield Fire, representing the Oregon Fire Chiefs Association.
Member Jones.
Maury Jones, Public Member.
And Member Lunsing. And then Member Morneau.
Joseph Morneau, FDDA.
Scotty Downing, Salem Police, non-management enforcement.
Member Olson.
Doug Olson, FBI.
Member Reese.
Mike Reese, representing.
Member Rowan.
Sheriff Terry Rowan, representing Oregon State Sheriff's Association.
Bill Castle, DPSST.
And I believe we have Kayla online.
Kayla Ballrot, DPSST.
We'll move on to the last meeting, October 24th, 2024. Then we have an opportunity to look those over. Anybody see any discrepancies that need to be noted? Yep. Looking for a consensus. On the heads, there go thumbs. We'll move on to Fire Policy Committee with an update from Chair Heppel.
Thanks, Chair, for the opportunity here. Just a couple updates for Fire Policy Committee. You got a few items on your consent agenda to take care of, as well as a committee appointee on that same agenda. With that, just a thank you to Tim Holmbrecht, who from Oregon Department of Forestry timed out after 2 terms on the Fire Policy Committee, and we'll be looking to fill his position going into the forward. With that, no further updates.
We're looking for a motion to ratify items A through D.
So moved.
Second.
Right, we're voting on a motion to approve the fire consent agenda, items A through D. Vice Chair Barrett.
Aye.
Member Bennett.
Aye.
Member Heroes with you. Member Cameron.
Aye.
Member Carriger.
Aye.
Member Cotting. Aye. Member Daniel.
Aye.
Member Fletcher.
Aye.
Member Gillespie.
Aye.
Member Hazenkamp.
Aye.
Member Heppel.
Aye.
Member Jones. Here is right now, Member Downing.
Aye.
Member Reese.
Aye.
Member Rowan.
Aye.
Member Reese Temple.
Aye.
Motion passed.
On to the Criminal Justice Policy Committee, update from Police Policy Committee, Chair Downey.
Thank you. Police Policy Committee met on November 21st, 2024. We reviewed 10 cases, 5 administrative closures, and 5 discretionary cases. They're included in your packet. Also, Kevin Drescher from Tiger PD was appointed to the Output Review Committee.
Telecommunications Policy Committee, Chair Fletcher.
Thank you. Good morning. Recently met on November 6th. The committee approved 1 administrative closure and the committee conducted a certification review and took action on a case. TPC meets again next week on February 5th.
Corrections Policy Committee typically would be Chair English, but Catherine Calpine is going to present the update for us.
Yeah, Catherine Calpine for the record. CPC also met in November. They reviewed a total of 10 cases, 7 administrative closures, and 3 discretionary cases, which are listed below in the consent agenda. And at that point, we reappointed Aaron Reyes to the African Review Committee, along with a new appointee, Mark Lauren.
We will be looking for a motion to ratify items A through K, not including J. We'll pull that out and have discussion shortly after.
Scotty Downing will make that motion.
Mark Daniel, second.
All right, we're voting on a motion to approve the criminal justice consent agenda, items A through K. Vice Chair Barrett,
Aye.
Member Bennett,
Aye.
Member Cameron,
Aye.
Member Carragher,
Aye.
Member Fletcher,
Aye.
Member Gillespie,
Aye.
Member Hazenkamp,
Aye.
Member Heppel,
Aye.
Member Morno,
Aye.
Member Downing,
Aye.
Member Reese,
Aye.
Member Rowan,
Aye.
and Member Reese Heppel.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item J is a law enforcement memorial wall nomination. Looks like it's a historical one from PPB and Catherine McAlpine.
Thank you, Chair. Captain Calpine for the record. It's always an honor to be able to identify some of our historical line of duty deaths. And in this case, this was some time ago. As you have in your packet, this was May 10th, 1917. Patrolman Andrew James Logison was on duty in Portland, Oregon, when he boarded a slow-moving streetcar and was suddenly thrown to the pavement when it lurched unexpectedly. This accident rendered Patrolman Logison unconscious, and he was subsequently transferred to the hospital where he passed away 2 days later. On May 12, 1917, from a fractured skull. Patrolman Logison served for PPB for 5.5 years upon his death at age 46. It was brought to the attention of PPD staff in late 2024 that his line of duty death had not been recognized. They submitted to the National Law Enforcement Memorial Foundation, which was approved. And now this is the first time that the board has had an opportunity to review this and consider it for our Oregon Law Enforcement Memorial. We do have in rule, just so you can see what it is. And part of the rule is when they are inclusion in the National Law Enforcement Officer Memorial, it will be considered sufficient cause for inclusion into the Oregon Fallen Law Enforcement Memorial. That is item 4D in the rules that is available. So the action item I am coming before you is determine if the death of Patrolman Andrew James Logison qualifies for inclusion into the Oregon Law Enforcement Memorial Law.
Thank you, Catherine. Is there any discussion? For the record, I'll add that while the inclusion is sufficient enough to get it in there, there's other things that are found within the material also noted by Kathy that fit. To include, he's a police officer, he was injured on duty, it was a line of duty activity. The information must be submitted by the potential honoree's employer, which it was out of PPD from an employee there. and there was supporting documentation, so it fit several areas within.
Thank you, Chair, for that.
Yep. And you need to make a motion, or just to determine consensus?
Just a consensus.
Do we have consensus that that fits?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And that will be for the May, I'm sorry, for the May, memorial.
Thank you, appreciate it. Moving on to Private Security Investigator Policy Committee, Chair Lenzen, update.
He's actually not present.
He's not present. Is there an update out of that committee?
I know that we're set to meet next month, I think, since the last meeting, I believe. So I don't think they're at this time. I know that they, I believe that the fee stuff we talked about last time, I think did move forward. I didn't see anybody from private security still here, but we are meeting next month, so we'll have an update for the next meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The only consent agenda item that we have is the informal update regarding the fee increases that was discussed. It doesn't need to be presented again, correct, Jennifer Howell?
Correct. Jennifer Hall, for the record, we provided the informational update to share the complete public comment record with the board. The fees will go into effect February 1st, and then the next step for the fee increases is to go through the legislative ratification process.
So then we are looking for a motion to ratify item A.
Yeah, Carrier, so.
Jennifer Cameron, I'll second.
We're voting on a motion to approve the Private Security Investigators Consent Agenda, item A. Vice Chair Barrett?
Aye.
Member Bennett?
Aye.
Member Cameron?
Aye.
Member Carey? Member Cotting? Aye. Member Daniel?
Aye.
Member Fletcher?
Aye.
Member Gillespie?
Aye.
Member Hazenkamp?
Aye.
Member Heppel?
Aye.
Member Jones?
Aye.
Member Morno?
Aye.
Member Nowning?
Aye.
Member Reese?
Aye.
Member Rowan?
Aye.
And Member Reese Temple.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Agency updates. Dr. Castle.
Madam Chair, Phil Castle for the record. Good morning. Couple things I want to say off the bat. I always say thank you so much for your time to be here. This is a big commitment. Legislative session started a couple of days ago. There's a lot of hustle and bustle at the Capitol and certainly around here, and all of your jobs are very, very busy. So I really appreciate your time and commitment to this process. I also want to thank the team. There's a lot of work that goes into the preparation of these boards, and I really appreciate you all for all the work that you do to put this together. So thank you very much. The first thing I want to talk about is a little bit bittersweet. Some of you know we've had some challenging times as of late. And I appointed a new deputy, Bill Steele, who has done an amazing job. He stepped in when we needed him. He's brought some incredible leadership and stability to the organization, and been right there at my side through everything. And now that we're through it, he's let me know it's time for him to ride off into the sunset. And he's earned every second of it, and I'm grateful for the time he did give us. So Bill will be departing the agency with our sincere thanks as February 7th. He will be leaving us. So I wanted to let everybody know about that. Legislative session, it's incredible. Yeah, you may have heard there's somewhere around 2,500 bills sitting there. Who knows what will gain traction or what will go through, but there's a lot of public safety bills, a lot of things mentioning public safety. My peers at the table here are all wrapped into it just as much as I am. You have in your packet a list of bills that we are tracking closely. There's 28 of them that are just at the top of our list. EPSST is mentioned in roughly 160 bills. Far too early in session for us to know which ones will gain any traction or which ones will need to make you more aware.
Director, may I just interrupt for just a second? Again, Captain Calpine. It's an attachment. And so if you're here in person, you're being handed, if you didn't get it when you signed in. For those online, it was sent in a separate email. So you're not frantically looking in your book to find it. Just want to clarify. Again, thank you, Director.
Thanks, Captain. So we're following 28 of these bills. Of note, I'll highlight House Bill 5032 is our financial bill. And in the GRB that was published, I believe, 2nd December, is that right? 2 December, GRB was published. DPSST did quite well in the GRB. We were CSL, which is really great, and then some. So there were 3 of our policy option packages that I briefed you on previously included in that GRB. The most noteworthy of that of the policy option packages was the learning management system. That is huge. That is some technology that this agency has needed for a very long time. We're super excited that it is being entertained in the GRB. Also, second pop would be a staffing package that really focuses on our regional training. On our listening tour, we heard loud and clear from our constituents that we need more support in the regions for training. And that policy option package supports that, including 2 wildfire trainers, which we obviously really need. The third policy option package provides monies for a study to increase the size of the footprint on the campus, meaning studying new building structures that will be needed as our workload continues to grow here at DPSST. So all very good news. We'll be testifying on that bill on April 21st and 22nd. We're a little later in session than most of my peers that I'm aware of. I think most of you all are testifying a little bit earlier on your financial bills. It's long testimony, I understand. I've never done it before, but a couple of my peers here at the table have, and they're helping me be prepared, and as is the governor's office, to be able to do that. We'll also be testifying on February 6th to the Public Safety Subcommittee on Ways and Means. And they have asked for us to testify about our forecast for basic police in 2025-27 through 27. We just received our data from a survey back from all of our 128 responses of our law enforcement agencies out of 180. So that's pretty darn good. And of those 128, it represents about 94% of all of our sworn officers. So it's a pretty good representation of what's going to be happening. There's not a bunch of huge surprises in that forecast. What we see is sort of a small decline in immediate volumes, but it's going to be somewhat erratic for a period of time. And there's a bunch of reasons for why it's erratic, from municipal budget timing to the availability of, we still struggle with qualified candidates. That is a real problem out there. And there's also a lot of lateral hiring happening. So high percentage, 37% of all hires in law enforcement right now in the state of Oregon are lateral. That is very hard thing for DPSST to wrap its arms around, to be able to track and be able to know and anticipate how many we're going to have to train as a result of that. Those laterals are moving in all directions. A few years ago, there was a pretty consistent direction of tier 3 agencies and tier 2 agencies, which are your smaller agencies. Tier 3, as a reminder, would be 1 to 24 officers. Tier 2 would be 25 to 99 officers, and tier 1 is 100 or more officers. In the state of Oregon, we have 12 tier 1 agencies. About 60% of our agencies are tier 3, so small agencies. So several years ago, there was a consistent movement from tier 3 up to tier 2 and tier 1. Now that's changing. It's changing. It's going all different directions, right? It's not uncommon to see tier 1 moving down to tier 2 and tier 3, right? So there's some really interesting data out there, and there is a very clear shift in culture. And we've also done another survey that we're aggregating the data on now, which is called Choosing to Serve. So we are trying to determine and help agencies determine, like, what is it that people want, right? What is it that prospective employees, prospective officers want out of their profession? What are they really looking for? And some of the preliminary things we see in there are kind of interesting. And there's some interesting data out there about why people are leaving agencies too. And it's not what you would expect. There's a top 5 reasons, and again, we're not done aggregating the data yet, but we've pulled chiefs and leadership specifically, and then officers specifically, and to see their responses and the differences in their responses is quite interesting, right? Generally, the top 3 reasons are super aligned. The chiefs and the officers are kind of tracking. The bottom 2 are misaligned. And it's interesting. You all will get a copy of the survey once we have it done. I'll make sure you also get a copy of our report that we'll be providing to the legislature on February 6th about our forecasting data. But it's very interesting. The good news is the report shows that the amount of officers that we have to train, in especially the next year, lines right up with our CSL, plus or minus 20. And that is something we can handle. And according to the data, we're going to be in good shape, and our lead time should not go. We are projecting that it won't go below 50 days, which is pretty awesome, right? That's well within our statutory obligation of 90 days. So we're pretty happy about that. And then what our projection shows is a steady, slow increase in those volumes over the next several years, right? Versus the big spike that we saw a year ago. I want to take a moment. I always appreciate the service in the room and how busy you all are. And I understand we have somebody in the room who will be retiring. And I wanted to recognize Chief Gillespie. I understand you're retiring in March.
Yes, sir. Yeah, beginning of March.
I have something for you. We have a plaque for you, but unfortunately that's not here. So I'm going to give you one of my director's coins, which I'm very jealous about. Thank you so much for your service, sir, for everything, not just the board, but for the city of Portland, state of Oregon. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm excited for the next chapter. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to retire beginning of March, take a little break, and then I imagine I'll be back in the workforce at some point. I'm going to reacquaint myself with my family and go to the gym every day and then get healthy again. But this experience down here and the people I've met and had the opportunity to work with has been fantastic. Starting with the Fire Policy Council, and just an example of the partnership in the state is what happened a few weeks ago. And under Mariana, we were able to mobilize and deploy to our neighbor to the south extremely quickly. Great to see, to be able to offer that. And then the last couple of years with this group, just learning about public safety as a whole throughout the state, the work that's being done, so impressive, and I'm very humbled to be a part of it. So I hope to see you all again in the future, wherever that takes us. But
Congratulations.
thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And speaking of fire, I want to make space for our fire program manager, Kayla Ballrot, to give a fire program update.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Director Castle, and congratulations, Chief Gillespie. Well deserved. I'm sure we're all jealous, but congratulations, and hope you enjoy your break. A couple of updates for the fire program. Oh, Caleb Allrott for the record, if I didn't say that, I'm the fire program manager. Most recently, staffing update, Brooke Bell Uribe was the successful candidate for our fire certification supervisor position that has been vacant for about a year now. So she moved into that position. Previously, she was the fire certification coordinator. And so that leaves that position vacant, which we will open very shortly and hope to have that filled also shortly. And great news on the training side, as far as staffing goes, we've had a vacant gorge position for quite some time now. That is being filled, and that person will start on March 3rd, which means great news for the training side. That means that it's all filled. Training has not been filled for quite some time, several years, in fact. So as of March 3rd, I'm very excited to say that we may have actually an entire just no vacancies in the fire program, which is great news. We also, in December, the fire program applied for the Assistance to Firefighters grant. This is a grant that fire departments and state fire training agencies in Oregon can apply for to obtain equipment, turnouts, SCBAs, things like that. And we usually apply for that each year to kind of get some equipment and props that our fire trainers utilize to train the fire service. So we applied for that again, and it's actually, we applied for about $450,000 worth of props and equipment that we otherwise wouldn't be able to afford with our budget. So we're very thankful for that ability to apply for that grant. And we're hopeful that we will get it. And then we also found out that we recently got the previous fiscal year grant. So well under our way to kind of fill our each region with a variety of props so that all of our trainers and coordinators regionally aren't driving the props around and sharing the props. This really frees them up to train more people, have just more accessible props, and also lessens the wear and tear on the equipment since we're not on the road time as much. And then the last couple of things that I will mention, I have mentioned to the last couple of board meetings, but it's just some updates on those. So the Firefighter One Academy that we will be having on campus, that is set to open in April, the first weekend in April. We will do 2 weekends a month through July, and generally those will be every other weekend except avoiding some holidays. We did have to do a few back-to-back weekends. And weekends are to accommodate volunteers. As you know, volunteers often work weekdays, so they're available weekends to go through the academy. But of course, career and volunteer would be able to participate in the academy. So we are opening that registration next week and hoping to fill kind of a good variety of Oregon. We're going to open that kind of a set amount of people available in each region to fill those spots, and then we realize, Eastern Oregon and places like that probably won't be able to come to the academy every other weekend. So if those spots don't fill, we will open it to the whole of Oregon. And the last thing I'll mention is the Five Corners plan, in which we are doing some targeted joint training with the law enforcement regional and firefighters across Oregon. That is set to start in Coos Bay in April. So during that time, we will have a forcible entry training with our forcible entry prop for the law enforcement side, and then an active threat training for both sides, law enforcement and fire at the high school in Coos Bay. Similar plan for Morrow County and Tillamook counties are in the works for later in the year. And then another one that I will mention is a July kind of driving rodeo in Central Oregon out at Mount Bachelor. So we will have like a skid car, skid truck, off-road vehicle. So it'll be kind of a week-long driving opportunity for safe driving practices for both law enforcement and fire. And that will be open and available to any public safety folks who drive big rigs, smaller rigs, off-road, things like that. So looking forward to all of those. And then we've got a few other things in the works to be announced later in the year for other parts of Oregon as well. That's all I have today. I'm happy to entertain any questions. Otherwise, I'll kick it back over to Director Castle.
Thank you, Kayla. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy, but before I do, I wanted to make sure I open the floor up for any questions you have of me. Hearing none.
Okay. Thank you, Director. Captain Copeland, for the record, a few additional updates. The most important one, I'm sure the director is just eager for me to bring, is that it's the director's annual evaluation. That'll come out Monday. This happens every year. So please, if you haven't seen it, check your junk or other folders. It is open for 2 weeks only and closes on February 7th. This is going to look a little different because we're actually combining. We're required by statute for the board to do evaluation, but also through the governor's office and DAS, there is a separate survey that goes out through peers, constituents. And so they're combined. It will be through Gallup. And it should be about the same length. So we can add a whole bunch of stuff to that. And if you have any questions, Shelby is our point of contact regarding that. Anything I missed, Shelby? Good. Okay. So again, we just appreciate your participation in that. And I know the director is always looking for feedback and like that. As mentioned, the director talked about the legislative packet. Again, the only thing I'll add on that is if you do have any questions, how we prioritize our role or anything like that, you're welcome to reach out to Jennifer Howell directly. She's made herself available. And of course, the director and I as well, as we go through this process. Something that I'm not sure historically how it's been reported in the past, but by statute, House Bill 4207 and 3145, is our database, and also the economic sanctions for police officers only, even though we collect, action taken by all public safety. It's just things of note, and I'm happy to send out this report. It just went to the governor's office right now. But unlike 2023, we had 18 revocations. In 2024, we had 30. 27 of them in 2024, but 3 were kind of carryover until into 2023. But the data hadn't been in this report, so I added that. What is very important to note is that it's not an indication of the officers, because these span from 2019 to 2024. So there's not we don't want to misinterpret the data and saying that we had some, really rogue officers doing something all of 2024. What I attribute to is efficiencies and efficiencies of our staff and the compliance coordinators that we're able to process, and also try and not overtax all of you that are on the committees, and in this case, the Police Policy Committee, but yet giving you a few volumes to have to read and get through that. So a lot of the success goes to your ability to review and make some meaningful decisions. We did have 43 that resulted in voluntary surrender for lifetime. Only about 30% were on-duty conduct. About 12 were criminal cases. And then 2 were mandatory revocation. So in other words, it bypasses the committee and goes right to a hearing if they choose to. Of the 24 cases that went through the discretionary committee, 11 of those voluntarily surrendered their certification prior to the committee having to hear it, and the board also finalizing that. 70% of these officers are ineligible to hold certification in the future. And 63% of these cases, the officers had 10 or more years of experience. So these are tenured officers. 10 of them held basic, 5 intermediate, 10 advanced, 3 supervisory, and 2 executive. And again, we actually, the director and I have spoken, we don't have a robust case management system. There is more analysis that could be done. And as we're looking for ways to make meaningful extrapolating things, and then hopefully being able to go out to conferences, OACP, OSSA, it'd be really nice to be able to really peel back and do a deeper dive. And we're working towards that. But again, Want to share that with you. I'd be remiss. The economic sanctions, there were 28 reported last year, which was the first full year. This year, we had 30. 26 of them held the rank of that first level officer, deputy trooper. We did one that was a detective, 3 that were sergeants. 96% of those are all on-duty conduct. And 26% were on-duty driving related incidents. And suspensions range from 1 day to 100 hours, depending on the agency's way that they meet out their sanctions. So again, I just want to draw your attention to that. And again, that cannot happen if we can't meaningfully get these cases through the system, through the committees and into the board for final determination. So again, I thank you for that. The other thing, it was already mentioned kind of in the committee updates, but you know, Mike Fletcher being humble on the telecommunication, he was volunteered for the ARC as well. So we have 4 new members on ARC. And so yesterday we had our meeting, we were able to have a quorum and actually get through the material. Excuse me. Other thing of note, annual maintenances went out. Those are important, you know, on top of officers' deficiencies. And private professionals. For the first time in Susie's historical memory, we got through all the backlog by the end of 2024. And that was huge. And that's contributed to the staff that worked their butts off on that. So again, shout out to them. Sorry, it needs a little bit of water, but happy to answer any questions you might have. And that's it. Yep.
Dr. Castle, do we need anything else?
No, one last thing, Madam Chair. It is absolutely a testament to the staff and their hard work, and it also is a testament to their leader. So, yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Nothing further.
Nobody has anything else to add. We will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Next meeting date is April 24th, 2025 at 9 a.m. here in this room.